Welcome to 709 Meridian, an audio commentary podcast. My name's Andrew.
And this is D.
And we are back finishing up our Fred Ward quadrilogy with 1981's Walter Hill Spectacular Southern Comfort,
Wow.
which we had never seen. You still have not seen. I watched.
No.
So I get to know what
You're going to
we're
be the
in
tour
for.
guide here.
And it is a tour. It is a lengthy tour, everyone. So this is 1981, so it's before 48 Hours. It is a Walter Hill movie in the way that 48 Hours has some Walter Hillisms in it. The kind of things that you would have extra content warnings for in the 21st century.
Shit.
Basically, yes, it is. We thought that this was basically just like a Deliverance thing. And that is one potential, take on it, because it is about these Louisiana National Guards getting in trouble with locals. However, there is a much more obvious, direct metaphor / just it's about a bunch of Vietnam vets who, because it's set in 1973, who treat their fellow Americans like they treated the Vietnamese, basically, is what this movie's about. And Walter Hill says that he has no idea what people are talking about when they say that. And I'm like, oh, and you also think there's somebody in this movie who makes a good decision, and all of them are just terrible fucking white guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and nothing happens for very long stretches. There are no jump scares. I'm going to spoil that for you right now. You're going to expect jump scares because they're being hunted through the bayou.
Well,
there
it's
are no
Walter Hill, not John Carpenter.
Yes. So this, folks, is what action movies were basically like until Lethal Weapon / Die Hard.
Right, so they had to have the 10-minute rule.
Yes. Until Shane Black started getting work, this is what action movies were like. So it is, drawn out, and other things. What's so funny about the 10-minute rule is it's not like Westerns didn't exist, right? Like, it's not like they hadn't been making these fucking movies since 1908 that had regular action. But that's not how Walter Hill rolls. So we will just kick it off, because why wait?
Yeah.
And also, you get to pick out all of the actors that you recognize that went on to video movies, basically movies that only existed on video. But yes, so that's the legacy of this one. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's hit it. Starting in 3, 2, 1, play.
Awesome. Wait, there we go.
And so this is the first time I think we've seen a film rise. And that's because Disney does not want this movie.
Wow. But they'll keep the Song of the South locked up in the vault.
Well, also, this was just a Fox distribution. It's this Cinema Group thing, which, if I'd been prepared, I would have looked up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Right out the gate, Peter Coyote.
I mean, that
was in Time Rider.
Yeah, did we even know Peter Coyote was going to be in this? I don't even know that we knew that when we had been talking about it.
Of course, this is different Peter Coyote. This is...
Oh, dude, it's not... Peter... No.
This is not twirling mustache Peter Coyote.
No, dude, it's Peter Coyote with a Louisiana accent.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Powers Booth creeping up.
Yep.
It's hard to put Powers Booth really in a category because
Yeah,
he kind of played everything. You know, he's very much a character actor.
yeah. It's very, and I mean, he was one of those guys who probably should have just had a really popular TV show instead of trying to be a movie star.
Well, he had the old HBO show um ran for a while. The Philip Marlowe show.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was like in '90, right? Like that was sort of late. I thought it
Yeah.
was Stacy Keach for a second, and then I was
Stacey
like,
Keach was Mike Hammer.
yeah.
That confused me for a while too.
Okay, so everybody pay attention. One of their big fun things to do is to show
Oh
off.
shit, Lois Smith.
Yep.
The
Is
head of
to.
wait a minute, T.K. Carter.
I told you.
That's Keith, right?
Yep,
Meridian.
that's key.
There's Mr. Fred Ward, Man of the Hour. Lewis Smith looking like a young Jason Lee.
hmm Well,
That dude.
yeah.
He was on In the Heat of the Night.
Yep.
And whoa
Carlos.
boy. Franklin Seals.
Yep.
Dexter Stuffins.
It is a wild fucking cast. Like,
Oh, so we just established our crew already, huh?
yep. This is how we do it. Okay, there we go. Cinema Group Ventures also did. Damn. They did Take This Job and Shove It, which was
Oh, that blue collar bullshit.
yes, a fucking Robert Hayes vehicle. Ooh,
Oh,
they did Willy Millie
eh.
with Pamela
Yeah,
Adlon.
Adlon.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Hollywood Vice Squad. That was the one with Ronnie Cox and Frank Gorshin. And
Is that
Hysterical.
what you call it? Carrie Fisher's in that one too, right?
She's in one of them. I don't think she's in. Is she in this one? Yes, she's in. That is the one with Carrie Fisher.
All
So
right, we
yes.
might have to do a Vice Squad
All right. Isn't Wings
duology.
Hauser in one of
Yeah,
those?
he's in the
Yeah.
original. Yeah, we got to do
Yeah.
that shit.
Okay. So Keith Carradine is very much playing your. I mean, I don't even know what kind of archetype he is, but he's. I mean, they're basically Luke and Han
Okay,
to
so
some
he's the
degree.
Mo. He's a regular Mo.
So it's going to take a while before we have anything with them that isn't just nonsense, though.
Mm-hmm.
The Heavenly Kid, everybody, the Heavenly Kid.
I'm kind of shocked Tommy Lee Jones didn't make the cut for this. What
Maybe
was he doing? the park is mine.
Yeah, he probably was doing the park is mine. Has Tommy Lee Jones ever done a movie with Walter Hill? They seem like they should have.
Yeah, they seem like they really should have. And I recently watched That's What It Was. I was gonna watch this,
Mm.
but instead I watched Extreme Prejudice.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Is that
Which
Powers?
Powers Booth is in that, Nick Nolte.
It's the Nick
It's
Nolte
got a
Powers BA,
it's got a really good cast. The cast I had nothing,
Mm-hmm.
no problem with the cast. I vaguely remember it though. Like, ah,
Yep. So this is Stick Up His Ass, Peter Coyote. Um, it's a Southern class drama in the first act here, where I don't know, they don't like
mm,
the readier necks of them and whatnot. However,
so within the group there's a
yes, there's division in the group.
so it's the
Um,
Warriors basically.
I mean, where's James
See, there you go.
Remar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's he? Where's Patrick Kelly?
So
You little weasel that sells them out.
the swamp looks often indistinguishable from Swamp Thing, which is delightful, though this actually filmed in Louisiana.
Mm.
So and it says Texas when I looked. So okay, this is about the pace of the movie, everyone. It is just lengthy um shots with Ry Cooder music playing
Mm.
and lulling you to sleep. And Walter Hill showing off that he and whoever shot this had enough time to set it up versus your Friday the 13th, which does not have elaborate location scouting.
Uh.
Yeah. There's Bubba Smith is still credited as Carlos Brown. Brian James, I'm just going to tell you, is a delight, an absolute delight.
Oh wow. Well,
Yep.
this is in his like he kind of ran it up till maybe the early '90s to the point where he became that guy.
Yeah.
But he is really good from like the early '80s up on up. Like by the time, what was it? Tango and Cash came out, and he shows up in that. He's like, "Oh, it's that dude."
Yeah. Was he in Last Boy Scout, or was that just Kim Coates?
It might have just been Kim Coates
Okay.
because the 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 main thug, the right hand in that was Taylor Negron.
That's right. It was Taylor Negron doing
Usually,
a bit
yeah,
part or doing a flex. Yeah.
yeah, and he normally doesn't play that.
Right.
He's hilarious, but he doesn't do heavies very well.
Yeah. Okay. So written by Michael Caine, Walter Hill, and David Geyer. Killer. I don't think we know. But none of the trivia explained Michael Caine's original script. So maybe he was the one who, added the very obvious, this is like a postscript to PTSD from Vietnam thing.
W's for Ward.
Now, one really funny thing about it is the name tags are really, really thin on the uniform. So it's like it's strange that I mean, we're sort of used to the names in war movies being quick identifiers, and they don't do that in this at all, which is sort of hard with Powers Booth and Bubba Smith because they are just two. They're just two white guys. So now they are just out on a overnight hike um, in needs of preparedness.
Mm-hmm.
Have they said that um, at some point they're going to say that the National Guard, what they're good for is shooting at kids on college campuses? So it's a very
Damn.
prescient film. But now we have Mr. Ward here. He has discovered some poachers.
Mm-hmm.
But look,
Mm.
they're gonna steal the canoes.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Guy with the mustache looks familiar.
the little that dude. If John Ashton was nebbish,
Fred Ward is Fred Warding.
yep.
I wonder. Well, Walter Hill, he had a hand in what did he write, co-write or produce Aliens?
Co
Co-wrote it.
Aliens he produced. 1 and 2 they produced. 3,
Okay.
I think he's got they saved the script type thing. But yeah.
Because I would
And
say they borrowed a little bit of the
yeah.
Marines from this.
And there was, I mean, so trying to think. You didn't really have a so I mean, yeah, Vietnam, really killed the uh, sort of traditional Hollywood war movie for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And so you get attempts at doing it, but you didn't get anything like what you got in for World War II. And so by the 80s, you really, I mean, especially the early 80s, nobody was
Mm-hmm.
making mainstream Vietnam movies.
No.
By the late 80s, yes, and there were TV shows and
Oh
things, but
shit. By '88, it was just wall to wall.
yeah, I mean, Boys in Company. No, Boys in Company C was one of the first ones. That was like 78. But
78,
then
yeah.
what Hamburger Hill was one of the big ones,
Yeah.
and then Platoon and Full Metal
Platoon,
Jacket.
Full
They
Metal
all
Jacket,
started hitting around the same time.
Casualties of War was kind of
Casualties of War was kind of helped kill it. I mean, Brian De Palma's
yeah, that
always
was
good.
towards the end.
De Palma's always good for fucking putting a stake in a otherwise viable genre. Um, but at this point, this is the type of thing you were going to do. You were going to do, your war movie, but without setting it in a historical context.
Mm-hmm.
So here, the natives have returned to find
Yep.
their canoes have been stolen. They did do a thing where they left enough canoes they could go and retrieve them. And we also sort of missed it at the beginning. One of the they have they don't have live rounds. They have blanks, and
Blanks.
one of the fun things they like doing is shooting each other with blanks, which is about to be very important. So no one.
Oh well. Here goes the bullshit.
Yep. Yep.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I started some shit.
Yep.
Get the fuck about. Shit.
That dude really.
Down goes Peter Coyote.
Yep. That was Billy. What's his face? From it's Billy from the Predator.
Oh, Billy Bear.
Yeah, Billy Bear. Sonny Landham. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, now we have lots of chaos. We are never going to address the canoe flipping. I will spoil that for everyone. We are never going to address the canoe flipping. It's unclear why.
Oh boy. Yeah, get out, goddamn. I like how they got their guns out, like.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Les Lism or whatever his name is, the guy who's playing John Ashton, Funko Pop John Ashton with hair. He also gives big Paul Giamatti's. Poor Paul Giamatti never had to do this type of movie.
No. He came in when it was all about characters in a situation. Because I was watching The Negotiator the other day.
Was he in The Negotiator?
Yeah, that was one of his earliest ones.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you want to talk about a long fucking movie? Okay, so Fred Ward has brought real bullets along. I don't know how many rounds he brought, but he does say he only brought one box. I don't know how many are in a box, but I feel like we run into John Woo bullet logic at some point in the movie. But very pretty running around in the bayou, I think I told. Oh, look at their hair. Sorry, I told you that at one point it is like Swamp Thing's fighting Arcane right like a block away type thing.
In the middle of the forest.
Okay, so this is the other thing is they don't talk about how the Cajuns would have any idea that they didn't shoot live ammo at them. It never gets addressed. Also, then we have to think about the fact that Lewis Smith is wearing a gun belt of blanks, which is kind of funny. I totally forgot what happened to what's his face?
Who?
Dexter guy. So yeah, so
Got some balls now, huh?
they're gonna walk. So yeah, I mean, just the we're going to spend the movie with them going, "Hey, should we try to get to safety?" And then the answer being no, we're going to complete the mission because it's a military operation. And they're in, a national park or a state park in Louisiana somewhere. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
So in other words, they just dumb as fuck. Like,
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about them just being really stupid, all of them. And only after it becomes increasingly obvious they're in a fight for their lives do they act with any like thoughtful self-preservation. It's incredible. like Well, I mean, the thing about Powers Booth is you never know if he's in on the joke that like it's I don't know. Like he's one of those character actors who's always against type a little bit, and you can never tell whether or not he's leaning into that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, funny because like Fred Ward is somebody who did that. He leaned into it. Tommy Lee Jones, who we mentioned earlier, he leaned into it. And then
Powers Booth is like a less transparent Michael Ironside.
Yes.
Who also would have been killer in this.
Yeah. Poor TK Carter. He's like, I'm going to have a big career. It's obvious. Everybody knows that I'm going to have a big career. Not having Andrew wonder if I'm still alive while we watch the fucking movie.
got a sitcom about to drop.
It's gonna be fine, everybody. It's gonna be great. Remember when you loved me? It seems like old times. You loved me. The Thing, I'm in The Thing. Everybody's gonna appreciate The Thing. It's some great movie.
Dr. Detroit coming out next month.
Because I mean, that's kind of the thing, folks, is that pre Brat Pack, the 80s was on an entirely different trajectory.
Yeah, everybody was adult. Like, it was grown folks. I mean, teenagers only existed in slasher pictures, pretty much.
Slasher pictures, maybe a TNA comedy, but even those were like trending older. Like,
they were like more college.
Yeah. And what's funny, of course, about the Brat Pack era is that you would think that St. Elmo's Fire would have been like the graduation to adult roles. Except St. Elmo's Fire was 85.
Yeah,
and these people would interchangeably, still be playing high school for the next few years. And it was just, nobody ever got any traction.
Andrew McCarthy was all over the fucking place.
Yeah. He was desperate to break into adult roles. And like none of these fucking guys ever thought, maybe I should like latch on to a supporting role in a Spielberg movie or something. Or a fucking Sidney Lumet was making movies at this point. Like be a fucking, second chair in that. And they eventually got to that point in the early 90s. The guys who fizzled were willing to like, and it, sometimes paid off for them with fucking TV shows. That's why we still have, convicted rapist Rob Lowe around. Like, but a lot of them just waited too long. And and it's just so funny when you think about how, the idea that
most of these guys ended up playing dad.
Yeah.
Like with the exception of maybe Powers Booth, which I could be wrong. Each of these guys played dad in something.
Yeah. And I mean, Powers Booth definitely
senator.
played the senator. Yeah. I mean, he played the senator 30 times. Like, I also thought he was taller than this. Like, he's clearly not that big of a tall of a guy. Ah.
So Keith Carradine doing this while his brother Robert is again playing a fucking college kid in Revenge of the Nerds.
So I'm still working my way through American Gothic, and basically Keith Carradine is what happens when you aren't Gary Cole enough as Gary Cole. Like, just like, but there's also like not a place for it, because Keith Carradine was basically, I mean, he was up for Luke Skywalker, right? Like,
yeah, who wasn't?
This was the era of the surfer man leading male. Yes. And so, like, once that sort of fizzled out, Keith Carradine didn't have any place to go. So the TK Carter relationship with Carlos Smith, or whatever, not Carlos, Alan Autry, yeah. Bubba, they don't, it doesn't pay off the way that we sort of get stuff on it. None of the like interpersonal stuff, like all these side ones, none of those actually really go anywhere. We've got too many characters. We're not putting Parker and what's his face energy into this. Harry Dean Stanton and
the buddies. But they didn't really do that much in the Thing either.
No, they didn't do that in the Thing. I mean,
they implied it a couple of times, but it just never goes anywhere.
Right. Aliens has a little bit of it, but not much harder than this. And I mean, some of Aliens' nicest stuff is just all implied.
You get that, Vasquez and Drake.
Are buddies, and then you have that
Hudson, who's the clown.
So they've now, at this point, they've killed Peter Coyote. They've slept overnight. They're overdue, but now we get, the great Carradine rundown of why they're not going to be called in. But we aren't getting an action scene yet. We didn't even have a suspense scene. They're not even worried about these guys hunting them. So, like, we have some very weird building after. Like, it doesn't occur to them that there are going to be consequences to this. Okay, so. Yes.
Came up on the Hobo Shack.
You got the Hobo Shack. We are going to just go for it. And I mean, like, Fred Ward to this point had been like a guest star heavy on, hour-long procedurals and shit. Like, like shows. He was like, a stunt man who got lines and shit, right? Like, and so none of these guys are very young. I think TK Carter's the youngest.
Yeah, that's most likely.
Like 24. So
these cats here are about at least a heavy 36.
Yeah. And I mean, that's also something you're not going to get anymore. You're not going to get a movie with a bunch of 36-year-old actors playing, National Guardsmen these days. Not for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is who's a 36-year-old actor today? They play, from 30, 50,
30 on up, it's dead.
Yeah, depending on which streaming service they're on, how much makeup are they going to have on, which can be fine. Like, but it's also just not. There's just no place for. I mean, right or wrong, mostly right. There's just not a place for this sort of like incredibly unaware, action movie for men. Like,
no.
I mean, they make them. They're made by those guys who made Bruce Willis make 5 years of movies reading him his lines because his brain had stopped working.
Oh.
Those movies do exist, but
and now it's taken up mostly by Seagal or Van Damme.
I will stand by that Streets of Blood one, the Val Kilmer one. That had some good acting in it. It's him and 50 Cent and Sharon Stone. And they're in Louisiana.
How does 50 Cent find his way in all of those?
Because he fucking finances those movies. That's what nobody talks about is 50 Cent's got more money than Stallone. So if Stallone wants to make it.
Stallone too.
Yeah. Like he can get
all
it
those estate plan movies.
Yeah. Okay. So
we stumbled on to Brian James here.
I believe that Brian James not getting an Oscar nomination for this role is a sign of Oscar bullshit. But also, we just had Autry flip his shit and do something extreme. Will that be a subplot?
Oh,
there's a reason I want you now too. Okay, so now we're just beating up U.S. civilians. This is a weird thing that's happening to these guys. They're really not holding it together. They're only doing this for a weekend and they can't even hold their shit together. What does that say about certain things? It's just kind of like, though, I mean, that sort of does sum up Walter Hill and John Milius is there these guys who make these really, what they see as these macho movies, and then they miss really obvious things, like,
mental health.
Mental health, and then also just, I mean, fascination with sweaty male muscles is totally fine. It's not my bag, and I don't need it in.
Not all the time, no.
No, I mean there's a time and place, yes, but
a good action picture is a good action picture. But then, there does get to a point where.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of the problem is that like for a second, and by second I mean probably 16 months. Your Lethal Weapon, your Die Hard era. It seemed like action movies were about to be. It seemed like they'd cracked the formula, right? And it seemed like we were going to keep having really good action movies, really good franchises, all this kind of thing. And then that fizzled by like 91. So it's, there's just been this rising expectation for the action movie and we lost it at some point. Like they had a formula, but then they lost that too. It's partially because
it's like every genre though. Because you have the good ones, and then unfortunately, you have the lesser ones that work the same formula. Like you have a Lethal Weapon, and then you have The Last Boy Scout, which really doesn't fucking
No.
it doesn't work at all.
And I mean, what's so funny about The Last Boy Scout is that, and I am not the true romance fan I was when I was a 16-year-old boy, but it does have a lot of commentary on that era of sort of action movies. Just
Yeah.
sort of the coked out Bruckheimer.
Yeah, if you look at that is the prime example of all of those back then. Everything bad about those movies is in that one movie.
Yeah.
Like all the tropes.
And Tango and Cash. And I mean, what was bad is Tango and Cash should have been a warning that people weren't going to go for.
Though, Tango and Cash, if you look at it now, it kind of had a wink of the eye. You know, I think it was obvious they were doing something a little more extra than the typical action picture because it was Stallone and Kurt Russell.
Right. Yeah. Though the wink of the eye worked a lot better, and I'm going to say it, in Escape Plan. Like, we had to wait that long for old man Stallone and old man Schwarzenegger. And it's funny.
Arnold really wasn't bad in that one.
No.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
I am actually not incurious to watch Arnold's post Governor movies because, like, he has really. And I mean, Stallone did too, but Stallone did it earlier and Stallone let it get extreme. And, like, one note.
He fell off, though, because.
But, like.
The last Rambo was garbage.
The last Rambo's garbage. It wasn't even garbage in the way that people thought it was going to be garbage.
Like, oh, shit.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
He's gone full on Kurtz.
Yep. Back to the movie, everybody. Like, dude. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure the National Guard probably takes some sort of oath not to, destroy U.S. civilian shit. I'm just going to get, I mean, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, he think they over in the bush.
It's 2024. We assume we've been assuming lots of wrong things, it turns out. But, like, yeah.
He's taking it pretty well, though. I mean.
Well, I mean, and that's like the terrifying subtext of the movie is it's like, wait, so 1973 Louisiana, how bad were they treating these people?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, they were treating them terribly because it was, Louisiana. Like, oh.
Jeez. This shit.
Yeah.
Like,
so now
not freaking out.
Right. We are now in a, okay, so we are 39 minutes into the movie. There's an hour and 5 minutes left. But this is basically minute 13 in a Vietnam drama that is showing us that, things are going to get fucked up. Right? Yeah. Like, so weird.
This is wild, man.
Well, you got to remember, I watched this and then I watched Godzilla -1. So it's just
like... At least you chased it with, You chased it with something, really.
Yeah, but it's like you can't escape the, sort of the movies about returning vets. Like, For those who have not yet seen it, Godzilla -1 is the first Godzilla movie set in the immediate aftermath of World War II. So it is about a not quite reconstructed Japan, not at all reconstructed, right? That wasn't even a known future. They get abandoned by McCarthy and shit. Whereas the first Godzilla is 53, 54. So, like, they were on their way, whatever that reconstruction era is called. Okay. So yes, we now just are going to get Brian James as but seriously, this is like, the POW guest star in a fucking MASH episode where it was a, fucking controversy that they wanted to nominate the Japanese guy playing the enemy North Korean
Yeah,
for an
he has to
Emmy.
take him into the bush
Yeah,
where they can
like
find somebody.
it's where they get in trouble for humanizing the enemy, like
They
type
have to write
thing.
Alan Alda out the episode so
Yeah.
Duke can get some shine.
And so instead it's, just fucking Brian James pretending to only have one arm. Like
It's like Klinger and BJ are guiding us.
Oh fuck yes it is. Oh my god. Walter Hill, everybody. Walter Hill and David Geyer, Giller, whatever his name is. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I don't know that based on who Alan Autry has turned out to be, that he understood what his part was here, but it's okay because neither did Walter Hill, apparently. So it's totally cool. Like, what I'm saying is there's a scene where they beat him with soap. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not a scene where they beat him with soap, folks, but. But he thinks he's an avenging angel because he's a Catholic good Catholic Louisiana boy, and he's been filled with the Holy Spirit to wreak havoc on
Yeah.
these people
The
without
woodland folk.
the woodland folk who don't have plumbing. Like, like, what do you fucking think this movie's about, Walter Hill? Like, what the fuck do you think it's about? If it's not about,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but you'll also note we haven't had like a fucking choreographed action scene yet, right? Like,
Mm-mm.
and when you think
It's just
about
for
it,
blowing shit up.
yeah, this is 1981. Well, I mean, I guess Escape from New York's 81, but I mean, like, Escape from New York
That
being
didn't really have any action
no,
sequences either.
not in the same way. That was a chase movie that had pauses to shoot guns.
Yeah.
But I mean, this era, Planet of the Apes still qualified as an action movie, and it does not by any further state. I mean, it's like it's the whole. Well, they're also, I guess, you wouldn't even argue they'd be adventure movies by my gatekeeping definitions. That adventure movies have to involve a quest. But anyway, to justify the difference between adventure movies and dramas, actually. But anyway. So now they're being threatened. Does Brian James know anything about this?
Oh, the bunnies.
I saw some post on Thread. Somebody was shocked that John Ashton was going to be in Axel F. And I was like, you think John Ashton was going to say no again? He learned from the last fucking time.
Yeah, the last one wasn't good, but it made money,
The last one was less embarrassing, would have been better for your career than Angels in the Outfield, dude, or whatever the fuck you didn't do it for.
And what's funny is if you look at the old Kids' Choice Awards, he comes to accept the award on behalf of Beverly Hills Cop 2, right? And before he goes off the stage, he's like, "You guys want to see a Cop 3?"
Did you say Kids' Choice Awards?
Kids' Choice Awards, yes. That's back when Nickelodeon nominated rated R movies for favorite movie and shit.
For everybody who
Beverly
doesn't,
Hills Cop 2
yeah,
won.
because for what everybody who isn't familiar doesn't remember, Beverly Hills Cop 2 took a big got a lot of
Got
heat
a lot of
because
flack.
it was during Eddie's sexist era.
Yeah,
Like it was during his actual like, no, we're just gonna actually do very misogynist jokes.
yeah,
Like
misogynist, and the villain was a chick.
uh not not well, I mean it's Nickelodeon folks. What were they
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
what
because it was
how were
all
they
run
trying
by
to
Paramount,
socialize girls? Like
and it was all run by
it
Paramount.
was
So,
Paramount, yeah, that is. Ah,
well, that was back then when like Bill Cosby was winning every year for favorite
yeah.
dad.
What we're saying, folks, is that growing
The
up on
'80s,
popular entertainment, reality turned out it broke all of us. Basically,
yeah,
all it just
the '80s was a magical time.
we had. It turned out we had no one. Basically, I mean, Bruce Willis. We held on to him for good reason, as long as we could.
Hmm. Uh-oh.
Yep.
They sent out the mutts.
Right. This is the action sequence, right? It's a scene from Predators or something. Like
Oh god, the predator dogs. Oh my god. Of course, Fred Ward, what, he doesn't want to give away he's got live rounds yet?
well, they all have live rounds at this point. We sort of skipped over that scene where they divvy up the rounds and it looks like each
Oh,
guy's got 4 bullets. And I'm just kind of like, that's not enough bullets for this movie unless you guys are a lot better at things. They're also going to imply that the dogs do serious damage to lots of these guys. It's unclear how serious the damage is because these are going to be untreated dog wounds
oh
because
yeah.
there's not going to be a medic scene. There it is, running off into the swamp by Arcane Manor.
Oh my arm.
Yep. All right. So here, there's no metaphor to this, no analogs, no analogies. It's not similar to any other fucking
Mm.
war movie. I feel like this is a still because I sort of remember,
Yeah, that looked like something on the back of the box.
yeah, Brian James making the big Brian James eyes in a role where he doesn't otherwise do it very often. I can't.
Mm.
This is another. So Powers Booth's inability to understand that weird shit can happen to him is another one of Walter Hill's like, oh, you didn't get that scene, dude. Like,
Oh, there's at the end of 48 hours too.
yeah,
Um, when Gans gets shot. It's the best villain death. I don't believe it.
yep.
I got shot.
In some ways, before Titanic and maybe before True Lies, John James Cameron was kind of like the what if Walter Hill worked out type thing. Like
Yeah, if
more
Walter
than
Hill would gotten out of his own way and stopped
yeah,
trying to make his shit as gutter as possible,
yeah.
you got to pull back a little bit. But then again, you know, we wouldn't have Walter Hill. But
Right.
I haven't seen Crossroads in years either.
That's Walter Hill?
That's Walter Hill, man.
I mean, I just remember I haven't seen it since whatever 2003, but like Undisputed was kind of like Ghosts of Mars, and that it was a nice last hurrah of the sort of late 70s, early 80s energy done in a modern sense.
He should have done, I think, he should have done a sequel to Streets of Fire. That was just begging for a follow up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is you do something like that, you go wrong, you're what's his face?
Mm.
What's that? Albert Pune. You had to be careful in the 80s. You could always be Albert Pune.
Yeah, just end up what was that? Cyborg was his?
Cyborg was his.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Or well, he had adopted it because it was
Masters of the Universe
Master
2.
Universe
Yeah.
2, which I have seen it listed as in a TV guide a couple of times.
With the grudge. Doesn't get any fucking lines. But yeah. All right. Need you to get ready.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh. Damn.
Yep.
Well,
And I
it had to
mean,
come sooner or later.
it had to come sooner or later. And, you know,
So they
get,
bury him.
yeah, this is going to be the new thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rest in peace,
So,
TK Carter. Damn.
and we miss the scene where they're like, well, we're going to fucking not, since TK Carter won't, actually, I guess the subtext is since none of the white guys will carry the bodies, we're going to bury them. Because it was TK Carter and Franklin Sales.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But it's like Hill gets some good fucking shots out of this. He gets like,
Yeah,
you
there
know,
is
he
some
gets
good
some good
cinematography here.
acting. It's just, you know, what's he building to?
It's
And
plotting.
yeah, it's plotting, and it's if it adds up, it'll be fine. But
Yeah.
we shall see if it adds up. With your 4 bullets, you need to carry your weapons at the ready. So I wonder if they added. I mean, there's no reason for it to be set in 1973 if you're not doing it about returning vets.
Yeah.
So, did they add that later or something, or was that always part of it?
Well, Walter Hill likes to be a storyteller.
Yes, he
I know
does.
he likes to tell his stories in, different points of time, or,
Yeah.
something like Streets of Fire or the Warriors that take place in a completely different universe, it seems.
And then with the Warriors, when it came time to try to franchise that, he contextualized it, comparing them to the Romans or something. Like the
Yeah, he
director's
did
cut
that,
with the
and then he tried to do it. It was supposedly like a comic book.
yeah, that was this yeah, that was yeah,
Yeah, he tried to compare it to. Oh, I think he tried to compare it to the Odyssey or something too.
yeah. Or
And
was it the
it just
300 like 2 years before 300 or some
right,
shit? Yeah.
which is fucking. I don't like the director's cut.
Yeah. Have they
What I do
finally
like
made
though,
the original available?
the original is around, I think, but
I mean, it's
yeah,
around, but yeah.
yeah, I don't think they keep reissuing the director's cut. I wish they would just do the extended version of the original though, because I do like the stuff in the beginning,
Should
even though
Shout
it's redundant.
Factory have access? I mean, that's Paramount.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. Yeah, I mean, nah, who knows?
Well, they have the scenes as bonus features, but
Right.
they should have a cut where it's in. I mean, it's not impossible to do that.
Yeah.
Just like with the Outsiders, like there's a version of it that's extended and it has the original soundtrack because they played it on TV.
Yeah, the so another thing I guess I'm sure affects this movie because well, no, it actually wouldn't. You could do this on TV pretty easily. But the folks who made TV versions weren't necessary. I mean, they were sort of a division of the studio. And so
Hmm.
they would fill things out with what they could, which is why you have alternate takes and things like that. This got some attention with Heat
Huh.
because Michael Mann took his name off the TV cut because he was willing to, he had alternate takes and he was willing to put together a version for it that
Huh.
maybe didn't lose as much. But
He did that with Ali too.
did he take his, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Ali, the TV Ali is what Alan Smithy.
Yeah. Which is just like, and I mean, you know that Michael Mann wants to tinker with Ali. He's got 3 cuts of that shit. Like, uh, okay. So now we're going to miss out on a big freak out scene. Instead, we're going to establish that dude, John Ashton, Paul Giamatti Ashton Giamatti there is he made some grenades out of the blanks that they had, remembering his training. Whereas we now have this problem, and we missed the setup for this scene that Alan Autry's completely lost his shit. So just very like Walter Hill's just roaming around the story at this point.
Alan Autry is every psycho commenter that I've encountered on YouTube.
I mean, we are recording this the weekend or the week of Man versus Bear, folks. So this is actually a movie about why women should much rather run into bears out in the wild than these fucking guys. Like, uh,
Oh yeah, Fred Ward is in this.
yep. So yes, we were having trouble finding a fourth Fred Ward movie that was Fred Ward in a lead that wasn't something like a 2-person stage drama about sexual
Yeah.
relations in the fucking early 90s and shit. So we thought this would be, it was this or Uncommon Valor. And so we're not ready for Red Brown. So we took this. But yeah, despite being third build, Fred Ward is not not around for all of the movie. even when he's around for the movie.
Yeah, he's kind of Ramboing a lot.
Yes, this is very much Fred Ward as your you know, Fred Ward could do all Stallone roles, basically, type thing. But Fred Ward never boxed. I will say that. Fred Ward could do your Rambo, but I do not believe Fred Ward was ever one of the guys who played a boxer, which was at a
That could have
time
worked too with him.
one of the requisites for a certain type of male actor. You had to play a boxer.
Like, I probably would have bought him more in Diggstown. Well, Diggstown wasn't, but
yeah,
one of those type movies.
Oh, Diggstown. God damn it. Fuck you, James Woods. Why couldn't you have just died? Why couldn't you have just fucking died in the year 2000? Oh, man.
Oh.
Yep. So this is also, Walter Hill, you could also think of as the what's that fucking guy's name? Friedkin. Like, what if Friedkin made straight action movies and not Sorcerer wasn't a metaphor for man's inability to overcome the environment and whatnot? Like, if Friedkin weren't Friedkin, you can see him sort of making Walter Hill action movies. Because we've got this very
yeah, this looks very
yeah, it's getting foggier as we go along. We've got the dry ice machines out, but then we're also going to get this sort of weird participation from Brian James. I meant to look up what Brian James is saying. Well, because I think we had some thunder and lightning, very, very frightening. Yeah, the kill him, right? Like, is that what he was always saying? Okay, so if the rule was Fred Ward had to make it through the movie, we did not manage that. We didn't know that that was a rule.
Well, we're best 3 out of 4, right?
Yeah.
It can't all be Remo Williams.
Nope. Whatever
Is this her secret admirer?
Whatever happened to Lewis Smith?
Well, he eventually did what? He was one of the sidekicks in Buckaroo Banzai. That was before the Heavenly Kid, and then after the Heavenly Kid, I think he probably did a lot of TV. Maybe
Is Buckaroo Banzai 84?
84. Yeah.
It always seems like it should be earlier than that.
Yeah. It feels like maybe 82, 83.
Yep. I've only seen that once.
It's okay. It's not horrible. It's one of those, if you've seen it once, there's really no desire to see it again unless it's like one of your favorite fucking movies. Weller's good. Everybody's great in it, but
yeah. I think in some ways Weller's got one of the most uneven filmographies. Like,
another one they couldn't figure out what to do with him, and I'm sure he was difficult because I read in the trivia of Firstborn That was Corey Haim's first big movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after a scene, he went over to congratulate Weller, who had just done an intense scene,
Mm-hmm.
and Weller took him and slammed him against a wall because he was still in character. He's fucking method, so they had to separate him and shit. Yeah, amongst other
Sure,
fucking
dude. Okay.
trauma.
There's this clip. I barely even paid attention to it, but it's just some clip of Gillian Anderson doing a like really intense retake for the
Hmm.
X-Files. And then they're like,
Yeah,
okay, and she gets done and she's like, all right, so let's get going. Like, it's just like you don't actually need to be abusive to children to
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Amongst all the shit he had to put up with anyways as a kid.
right. Like trying to be like a professional and getting shit for it, like getting assaulted for trying to be a professional. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's fucked up.
Damn.
Okay, so now we have given up on the idea that we're going to finish the mission, and instead we're just going to walk to the highway, which we established maybe right after Peter Coyote died. They've been going in the wrong direction the whole time. So
So at one point they lost the map because didn't they have a map initially?
they had a map. They lost the map in the water. They lost the compass in the water.
Yeah.
But then um, Keith Carradine was like, well, why don't we just say the sun is setting over there in the west and it rises in the east? And I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But if I'm right, also there
No,
are
it sets in the
26
west.
letters. It sets in the west. Perfect. He's like, then this is north. And they're like, no, man, fuck you. We're going this way. And he's like, so we're just going to go the wrong way. And they're like, yes. And so that's why they're in all this trouble now. Like that happened before the rabbits.
Uh,
Yeah. Like they just are.
Slogging along.
Yep.
Look,
Waiting for
here's
a jump scare.
your Blair Witch remake right here.
Right.
Only make them real soldiers somewhere. And
Fucking A, you make them real soldiers going after the Blair Witch, dude.
yeah.
Well, and I mean, that is something about this is very low budget. Like it's
Yeah.
surprisingly low budget. Like,
This is like what they did in the movie The Brotherhood of Death. Where they claim they were in Vietnam, but you could tell it was somebody's backyard or
yeah. I mean,
a forest
they're
preserve somewhere.
yeah,
The trees don't even look like trees in
yeah, they got permission to shoot in a state park and they walked every inch of it. But Hill
Yeah, I
and
wonder
his DP, they took their time setting this shit up. Like,
will the state park get a special credit?
fuck, I didn't watch the credits. We'll have to look. I don't. Does maybe not. I don't. We should look up filming locations.
Hmm.
Yeah, but this is how low budget on location shooting worked in the day. It was not you all shot around one house, like or whatever the fuck. Or I mean, I guess it's been too long since I've watched anything modern comparable. But are low budget action movies shooting on green screens for like obvious shit now, like TV does? Like,
Yeah. So what? Franklin Seals has lost it.
yeah. Well,
No.
no, because he sees them. He's also like, I'm gonna have a fucking great dramatic premiere. Fuck you. I can play Hamlet. Look at this shit. I'm not just gonna be on a sitcom. But then you just get like this series of iconic war movie shots and shit. Yeah, like
wow.
You know who saw this movie? Oliver Stone.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Oh. Whoops.
So I actually am kind of curious. What has a higher budget, Swamp Thing or this? Because like Swamp Thing didn't knock down any trees.
Yeah,
I'm
Swamp
just
Thing
gonna
didn't have
say,
fallen trees.
yeah, Swamp Thing wasn't allowed to knock down any trees in that state forest. Like, and you got to figure, um, it took at least what, two guys to cut down all those trees. Swamp Thing didn't have two guys cutting down tree money.
Uh-uh.
Does everybody make it through the falling trees? Okay, they're into the
Yeah, stop
blanks.
shooting.
They're into the blanks. We saw him get 4 fucking bullets. Like, everybody has 4 bullets.
Mm-hmm.
The end of Aliens. Or no, it's the end of Die Hard. Oh
Yeah.
no, they run out of bullets in Aliens too, I think, don't they? Like,
Eh. They were running
yeah,
low on ammo.
low on ammo. Yes. They weren't out of ammo like in Die
Yeah.
Hard.
Uh-uh. Is that the same clip?
No, that's what's shocking. It's not the same clip. It's
Does it
actually a
look like?
totally different guy, but yes, it looked exactly the same. I mean, Walter Hill knew a good shot. He's like, I bet Oliver Stone wins an Academy Award for this shot someday.
Because I noticed a scene just the other day when they played 48 Hours.
Mhm.
Early on in the movie, when Nick Nolte is driving the Cadillac, it's a scene where they're following the Porsche
Oh Jesus!
because you see the Porsche in traffic in front of them. But they just reuse the scene, the clip later on.
Good enough for Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. Good enough for 48 Hours. Whatever that Spider-Man in LA one was.
Mm,
See Dick Durex walking around behind him,
walking around.
screaming. Yep. I will say it's very nice to see this with a Louisiana filming location because this type of tree, this cypress tree, in movies they always shoot it in that South Carolina part. So like
Mm.
maybe you don't want to shoot in Louisiana because the water looks like it's full of shit, but like looks like a fucking chocolate milkshake from McDonald's.
Wait, milkshake from McDonald's.
Okay, I'm sorry, a shake. It was a chocolate
Our
shake.
shake machine doesn't work.
Our shake machine doesn't work. We're filling up the bayou in Louisiana with it instead.
I was ready to destroy the McDonald's over here, man. Because I was trying to get a Shamrock shake, and
No,
those
oh,
assholes.
dude, I'm sorry. That's terrible. I found
Yeah.
out the place up the street has got. They're not milkshakes. They are shakes. But one of the shakes is white chocolate creme de mint, and it's basically like a fancy Shamrock shake. And I
Mm.
got a large one. This is the large.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I learned it's good. I also learned I'll be just fine with a regular.
Well,
I'm just like,
you're not a dummy like me getting a shake, a Oreo shake from up the street, and their large is like a
ow,
yeah, it's like a coffee small.
damn.
Yeah, I was
I
ready
gotta,
to
yeah,
knock somebody the hell out over that shit.
don't do that to me. I need my milkshake to be just on the line that makes me sick and regret it, because then I
Yeah.
appreciate it even more. Where's Stucky? He just fucking ran in front of you. That's how the shot was set up, Walter Hill.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
So there goes Lewis Smith.
Yep. We're doing the full thing. We're not
He's letting the
fucking around
swamps
at
of
all.
sadness consume him.
Yep.
Hot sakes!
Dude, was
Oh,
he up for a never ending story, do you think?
no. No. As the horse?
I do not remember Lewis Smith having that dark of a complexion. His character in this does not have a very dark complexion, but it does appear he does have a not okay.
He probably tanned a bit beforehand, because
No.
he's a pretty pale dude, especially in Heavenly Kid, and he's got his hair dyed in Buckaroo Banzai.
Okay.
Perfect Tommy.
He's kind of like a proto John Cryer.
He's got a little John Cryer. He's got a little either of the Dylans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like a dash of Travolta.
Yeah. What we're saying is there were about 7 types of white guys in the 80s.
Right in the 80s.
I mean, shit, now there are 3. So, I mean, like.
It's just somewhere along the way, people were like, fuck Travolta. Till, like, what? Look Who's Talking came out.
Yep. Look Who's Talking. But it was basically. I mean, Physical was, one of a kind. Wasn't that 82?
No, I think that was 84.
I mean, Perfect is hilarious. Like,
I almost want to watch that to see how bad it is.
Because it's fucking. It's just amazingly bad, but. Well, I've still never seen Urban Cowboy. I cannot. Mustering the interest for that is difficult.
They've been running it on Pluto. I watched it
Okay.
recently. It's not bad. It's long. It's super long, and it's like no reason for it to be as long as it is.
Not one of a kind, 2 of a kind. That was when they were bringing back Travolta and Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, they were supposed to bring out the old Grease chemistry back.
Angels are involved.
Yeah, they're trying to get them together, and the whole movie is they're resisting each other.
Yeah,
like they can't stand each other.
I will say this for Travolta: he didn't humiliate himself like he would go on to humiliate himself. Okay, so Staying Alive bombed. 2 of a Kind bombed. He tried Perfect, that bombed. Then he fucking didn't do shit. The Experts came out in 89, but that filmed in like 86, right? Like, he kept to himself until Look Who's Talking. Then he tried Shout. And he only had to wait 2 years before Pulp Fiction. And then, really, Get Shorty was before Pulp Fiction had even hit. So, like, they were willing to fucking trust him even based on the Look Who's Talking trilogy. So it's like...
He had that good 90s run.
Mm-hmm. And when you look at it, that shit lasted 2 calendar years. That shit was over by 1999. 1999, his only movie was General's Daughter, and that was so bad.
I
And then it was
Battlefield.
Yep. Fuck you, Simon West. Fuck you forever. We got so few Madeline Stowe movies when you look at it. Fuck you
Yeah,
forever.
like
Like
yeah, she should have been on a lot more.
yeah. Okay.
Right, we've
So
just lost Franklin Seals and the other guy.
and Ashton Giamatti.
Yeah.
Um, but we still have got Alan Autry tied up. Are we gonna just play some Ry Cooder music and walk slowly for a bit?
They're gonna run into the Boggy Creek creature.
Well, fuck yeah, with that sunset shot. Like, also, yeah, they should be able to get a bearing from the sunset that we have no mention of that though. So I feel like the Keith Carradine part, this would have been a breakthrough lead for Weller. Not wouldn't have done it, but it could have been a breakthrough part for Weller. It could have been a breakthrough part for James Woods because it is a very bland leading man part, right? Like
But
this
he's
is
been in other shit though up till this point, right?
what's his
Like remember
first.
up in, around '83, they were still talking about the deer hunter and shit. Or this is '81, but yeah, the deer hunter was a big.
James Woods was in the Deer Hunter? No, he wasn't. Was he?
Was he? He's
No.
in one of those Vietnam pictures because that's what he did for a while. He did like what was the Killing Fields? I think.
He was in the Killing. Was he in the Killing Fields? Fuck, hold on. Oh my god, I did not want him in my algorithm, but all right, this is what we do for you, the listener, all right? I just put James Woods in my fucking algorithm, you assholes. Oh, like and subscribe. Okay, so here we go. Um, let's see. He was in the Choir Boys in '77. That was that cop movie with Lou Gossett Jr. about the dirty cop. Oh, about the dirty cops. um, let's see. The Onion Field was 79.
Mhm.
Is he the killer in that, or is he? And Franklin Seals is in it. Ted
Oh wow.
Danson, Ronnie Cox. We got to be careful, or we're gonna have a weird fucking season if we aren't careful. Okay, Aldo Eyewitness was 81, so no, he Fast Walking was 82. That was the one his first sort of lead.
Hmm.
So he could have done this. This would have been fine because he did Videodrome in
Oh wait,
83.
Videodrome he did around this time, didn't
Yeah,
he?
83 though.
Oh,
So yeah, he could have totally done. He could have done this and fucking done a shaggy haired, make him as good looking as possible pretty boy role. Like, and that would have been something. Night Moves was 75. Like, yeah, he was fucking. I mean, that is sort of the other problem with most of these fucking white male actors who turned out to be or turned into pieces of shit is they waited their fucking asses off for their careers. Like
yeah.
they waited 12 years for their shot. Like it Brian Cranston didn't fucking make it until he was like 50. Like these fucking guys just worked their ass off and like made terrible fucking movies and it never paid off for most of them. Yep. Academy Award nominee.
Oh, see.
I wish that he'd revealed he had his arm at the end, though.
Right, he had his arm the whole time.
Okay. Slow motion sometimes isn't the right move. Just gonna say.
So he spared him, huh?
Yeah. Now, of course, everyone in your Vietnam movie context at this point, these two are now your villains until, I don't know, 1986. Like being spared by the Viet Cong, you would have been a villain until, yeah. Well, what am I saying? No, until like probably 95 or something. A Hallmark movie flashback or something. It had to totally get inverted, or we had to go through the entire cycle. Okay. There are 17 minutes left of the movie. Try to figure out why the fuck we need 17 more minutes of this movie.
Oh wow. See, I was ready for the credits to start rolling and shit.
Yeah, it sort of should, right? Like, and okay, folks, that's
All you
another
gotta do is
thing.
ride out.
That's another thing about this era of movie, and by era I mean until, well, shit. I mean, now you have 7 endings to a movie, but in the old days you'd have 2, and one of them would come at the end of the second act, and then you'd basically just be sitting there for the third act going, why the fuck am I watching this? It better pay off. And then, well, we're going to watch Southern Comfort. Yeah, Cimino, the era of Michael Cimino. I watched Year of the Dragon again. I don't remember when. I think during the pandemic. And yes, Mickey Rourke is really fucking good at it, but he is 100%. I mean, like, it is another one where it's like, oh, you're a fucking abusive piece of shit, and you're the hero, and everybody, and it's just like, cool.
Guess what he's in?
Oh shit. What?
Okay.
All right.
So somebody's put together this really cheapo Tyler Perry spoof movie called Not Another Church Movie.
Okay.
And this is like a complete nepotism casting because
Okay.
Jamie Foxx plays God, and you could tell even from the trailers that he might have spent maybe a day or two filming his scenes and it was like, peace out, good luck with the movie. Mickey Rourke plays the devil. And he's done up in a like red suit and a red cowboy hat. And yeah, it's yeah. You have to see the trailer to believe the shit. Like, and the movie is, I don't know if it intentionally looks cheap because Tyler Perry movies look cheap, or
It
it
just
looks
is
cheap
because it
because
is
it's, you know,
cheap.
low as fuck budget. Yeah. It's
Oh,
got it's got a good cast. I mean, Vivica Fox, Tisha Campbell.
okay.
It's got a good cast, but then like
I remain convinced that in the 352 direct-to-video or TV movies Vivica Fox has done, there are like 7 great performances because she's fantastic, and
yeah,
she
she's really
never
good.
gets to do it.
And
Never gets to
only
do it.
yeah, with those Lifetime movies, I'm sure all of that is redundant. She might as well play the same fucking character.
But
But yeah, she's been good.
yeah, speaking of the disappointing 80s, yes, Mickey Rourke got a chance to fucking we could have had the comeback, and instead we didn't. It's in the same universe where Ed Norton is still played the Hulk, and the Avengers was totally different and it wasn't Joss Whedon and blah blah blah.
That's funny. After recent weeks of exposing creeps and everything, Joss Whedon, I'm sure he's glad nobody brought his name up.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't work on Nickelodeon, but
No.
still, there's like all these creeps being exposed lately, and
okay. So now what we're gonna get is we are going to get the boys at a sort of a bayou block party. Um, all of these people, right? They're the good Cajuns. They have the same complexion, right? There's no reason, and we're just going to watch Powers Booth having basically a PTSD episode, as you know, and it's just fucking. You're like, where are you going, Walter Hill? You please tell me you're going somewhere with this. And it's just like, no, he's not. Spoiler, folks. He doesn't go anywhere with it. But I mean, like, he's convinced this is a deep con to, like,
trap them.
These two fucking guys. And I'm like, dude, they've got Morton's soul. Like, chill the fuck out. All right. Like,
And now to bed for Cotton Eye Joe. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
But yeah, so it's just Powers Booth is convinced that these are all terrible human beings who are going to kill him like it's the lottery or something. It's just like, yes, I admit, Walter Hill, this part is not very Vietnam, but that's because you're too busy saying that you hate poor people who speak French. Like, dude's wearing a hoodie. Leave it alone. They're fine.
Right.
Like,
we can use this footage for the Gambit movie.
remember how inevitable that was? Remember when Gambit was inevitable?
I'm still scared that they're gonna, do the wink and a nod in the Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they don't. If they have to bring in Gambit, let it be Kitsch.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot it was a recast. That's right.
Remember?
Yeah.
But with them, I'm almost sure they're gonna. Ugh.
I know. Well, I watched 2 last night. I hadn't seen it before, and I wanted to get caught up, so I watched Deadpool 2.
Well,
Yeah.
it's and the Wolverine we get in this isn't.
No,
he's not. He's not exactly the one we know.
and it's like, is that going to actually matter? It's a Deadpool movie. Is it just going to be played for laughs? Like, it'll probably just be played for laughs. So, like, but no, I mean,
everybody's thinking it's the Fox Wolverine. It's not him.
It's just, you know who's really, really good at comedy and rarely gets to do it? Hugh Jackman. Like, yep. And worst of all, it's his friend. It's the guy who said he was going to help him. They're all just a bunch of fucking, it's Texas Chainsaw.
They gonna eat us.
It's Raw Deal. That's the one that he goes down south, right?
Raw Deal?
Yeah. No?
No.
Oh.
No, that's the Mafia one.
Isn't there one where he goes down south?
There's one where
he made like 4 fucking movies. I love how I can't remember.
No, there's the 9/11 one where he goes over to wherever the fuck, like Latin America or something.
Yeah, no, I've seen that one. But where he's saving the guys or whatever, or he's got to. Hold on.
No, yeah, that's.
I gotta be.
Shit.
What the fuck am I
No
thinking
animals
of?
were harmed during the filming of Southern Comfort.
Right. Yeah, we should look for that.
Uh-oh. It's Sunny.
It was in Chicago. Yes. The Mafia one, but it takes place in North Carolina. So he's
Right,
down
it starts,
south.
yeah.
Yeah.
It starts in the little where they have this out of place fucking Arnold with that accent. My name is Stewie Baker.
I mean, he's somebody else whose career actually only lasted 3 years on the level, or a handful of years on the level that you thought it did. Like,
No, he thanks God every night for Terminator 2, I'm sure.
oh yeah, that's why he keeps doing them.
Yeah. Because that shit was not supposed to,
No, it was
I
not
don't even think
supposed.
it should have gone past 2, but,
No, but Terminator 2 was an actual cultural phenomenon for a
right.
moment. It was a blockbuster phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Holy shit.
because you had it was the new era. It was the Batman era of the blockbuster, and it was showing you could do it with R ratings. Yeah. Ugh. I really do not want to read Walter Hill's artist statement on why he felt the need to show them slaughtering the pigs.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
He's an artiste, man. Walter
That would
Hill's a
be
fucking
CGI now.
auteur. You wouldn't even have the shot. You wouldn't even, I mean, there's no point for it. Like,
Or they imply it more than
yeah.
anything. They'll show the knife going up and then, wow, look at all that pork.
Yep.
And the other one dancing too.
Okay, but we now have this lengthy, intentionally disquieting sequence about him having PTSD or having a thing. But then it turns out, no, Billy Bear was there the whole time. He really is going to get killed. He isn't safe anywhere. We're into a Walter Hill action sequence, basically.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about Sonny Landham is like, he's a son of a bitch. You can just fucking tell, like, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like Danny Trejo, it's always like, Danny Trejo, he's probably nice, right? Like, really, he's probably nice, But like, Sonny Landham was just a fucking asshole. Like,
psycho.
yeah. That's right. He was a psycho too. Like, yeah.
They said in Predator they had to have a security guard to keep him off of people and shit.
But we just had the blanks versus bad guy scene that has basically been suggested since the beginning, and Walter Hill didn't really know how to shoot it, so that sucked. But now we're getting a chase scene. think it just goes on forever, actually.
I mean, is it just this one last
It's
guy?
one dude left, but we've got 4 minutes, so let that tell you something.
Oh,
Doesn't I think somebody or no, we've already done the thing where Keith Carradine's trying to find him.
mm-hmm. Oh, look, the helicopter that did
Yep.
absolutely nothing last time.
Nope. Just wait till you see what it does now.
Mm. The helicopter that hovered and watched Lewis Smith fucking sink in the.
Yep. I mean, wouldn't you? They were like, I know that guy. That's Stucky. That fucking guy, he tans to pretend he's a little bit more ethnic for the part. It's weird. We should let him drown. Here we go. And we got another one of our platoon shots, everybody. There's only
Oh,
one
wow.
way to do that shot. And then, of course, we get a resolution that's so cheap it's like on American Playhouse. It's like a fucking the end of a short movie we had to watch in 8th grade. How does Who Am I This Time end? Like, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, this is one of those ones where at some point during the movie you're like, wait a second, why don't I know about this movie? Why didn't anybody ever tell me to watch this movie? And then you find out why. Because they keep going with the movie.
Oh, so that's it.
Yep. You got Walter Hill. What do you want? What do you want? That's how you get Walter Hill. I'm trying to remember what it was what was it, The Old Guard? Whatever that the Netflix movie one was where Charlize Theron plays a Highlander on a team of Highlanders.
Oh.
We got to it was an early pandemic movie, I think, and we got done watching it. And Monique's like, wait, that was such bullshit. And I was like, yeah, you just got Greg Rucka. Like, that's what's been happening in comics since since what? Not 98, but like, yeah, right? Like 2000, he's been around. So, okay, so let's say 2002. Everybody's been getting Greg Rucka since 2002 when you read comics. It's just now he's brought that fucking level of just like, oh, yeah, to movies. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so there you go, Southern Comfort. Yeah, I mean, it's got some nice looking parts. There's some good acting at parts of it, but it's
cinematography's nice and
cinematography's nice. It's impressive on its budget for sure.
and I don't ever have to watch it again.
You don't ever have to watch it again. You don't ever have to actually tell anybody to watch it, turns out, unless you're recording a podcast.
None of those. Okay.
Yeah.
No location in Louisiana and Texas.
But no specifics. And I have
Louisiana Film Commission.
Yeah.
Producer of Southern Comfort Liquor.
So that'll tell you that they worked that out. And then we established that Cinema Group Ventures, this was by far the biggest thing they ever fucking did. Oh, okay. If we had been thinking about it, we would have possibly tried to sync up a star of this movie for our next theme, but we did not do that, and we are not going to do a Peter Coyote season. We've done a Peter Coyote half season, and I don't know what the correct context is for us to do an ET commentary. We'd have to take it a lot more seriously. So
right, yeah, we could be clowning on ET.
Yeah, so ET is going to be a Jaws situation. We already did the Tremors, where it's not. It doesn't really pay off to do something particularly good.
No.
So we will be back with another quartet. I'm not ready to go back to Titan's Tower just yet, or even think
No.
about it.
We probably
So
won't do Titans till after the summer.
something, yeah.
They still have Summer of Duologies coming up.
So
Again.
maybe let's think timing wise. It might be time to kick off the Summer of Duologies, actually. So
a little early. Still spring.
yeah, but that's when we're recording this.
We did? Okay.
That's not when we're hearing it. So we'll figure it out. But we'll be back with something next time. And yeah, so if you're gonna watch a Walter Hill movie,
48 hours.
48 hours.
The Warriors. The original theatrical version of
theatrical Warriors.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, wait, isn't Extreme Prejudice the one with the silly costuming?
Yeah. Melty's the sheriff.
And he's got like a
stash.
Oh my god. Not that. Okay, yeah. So there you go. 48 hours for the Warriors. And then we'll get back to you if we can think of it. Undisputed, maybe. I gotta watch it again, but maybe.
Yeah, that one kind of. I had high hopes for that, and I just ended up being bored.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same type. It wasn't a failure. It was just
it wasn't
not
bad. It's just awkward.
Yeah, cool. Kind of like watching fucking Southern Comfort and pretending it's not Vietnam for the first 2 acts of the movie.
Kept hearing about how good it was, but
no,
it's just kind of.
The Long Riders is another one that I've always heard is like actually good, and I'm like, I don't know if I believe you about that. I don't know if I believe that.
This one was very mid-level.
Yeah. Impressive for 1981. Like if I'd seen this in 1981, it was pushing it was pushing what you could do with a low budget movie for 81. It was doing that, at least. I will give it that. But some of that is sitting around bored off your ass listening to Ry Cooder music. So
yeah. Alrighty. Well, I ain't really got much else to put on top of this one because
no,
it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. And decent cast. It's
just
flat.
Walter Hill, baby. Walter Hill. Night, everybody.
Night, folks.
Hello, my 709 weirdos. Let's talk about a flick. Southern Comfort, they call it. 81's thick. A Fred Ward quadrilogy with a Walter Hill twist. National Guards in the swamp on a surrealist tryst. Andrew guides, Dee listens. It's a tour so grand in the Louisiana bayou with a troubled band. Vets of Vietnam, the metaphor so clear, Hill denies it outright, but the theme's right here. No jump scares await. It's suspense that's slow. Hill's not Carpenter. The tension's gotta grow. A drawn-out action, pre-Die Hard's dawn, when movies took their time until the 10-minute rule was born. From Ry Cooder's tunes to the actor's plight, recognize the faces, the stars in flight. They went on to video fame, a legacy of sorts, in the swamps of the bayou where the tension contorts. Walter Hill, oh baby, 48 Hours and the Warriors too. But Southern Comfort, it's a different view. Flat it might seem, mid-level they say. But in the murky waters, it's Walter Hill's way. So here's to Southern Comfort, a toast long overdue to Andrew and Dee. This one's for you. Stay tuned, dear friends. More toasts are on the way as we journey through cinema, come what may.